Hey everybody, and welcome back to the video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about arranging a song. In my last video, I showed you guys how to add drums to a beat. So we're actually going to be using the exact same beat from that video to arrange the song into a full song. So without any further ado, I don't want to talk too much. Let's just get right into it. So as you can see, this is the instrumental or the 8-bar loop from last time. And I'll let this play real quick so you can hear everything. Now, there are a ton of ways that you can go about arranging a song. You can start out like with everything playing like we have it now, or you could start out with just a few things playing. Today, I think I want to experiment, and so I want to try arranging this in a way where we start out with everything, and then we kind of like jump off into a verse, and then back into the hook. A lot of songs nowadays, that's what you're getting a lot of, starting out with hooks. Maybe an intro of something that catches the listener's attention, and then going on into the verse or something like that. So most of the time when you do things like this, or when I do things like this, what I like to do is I like to just go ahead and copy the entire thing. We'll grab this first part here, and then we'll just A-B. So we'll Control B. Control B again, Control B, Control B. You can Control A, B, Control A, Control B, but since I have this set up this way with these tabs up here, it's not going to do it. It's going to, if I hit Control A, it's going to highlight the entire thing. And now the entire thing is laid out, which is fine. That's what we want, right? And from here, we can add things or take things away. I think I do want to start with everything playing at once, and then I want to kind of like drag it down or bring the energy back down. So something that I like to experiment with is, instead of going ahead and deleting things out of the playlist itself, I like to just mute certain things. So if I come in like this with everything playing, I can, come to the next part and just maybe put my cursor here or my playhead here, and then just kind of right click on something and just pick something to just play by itself. What can be played without any support from anything else? So something like that. Maybe take the vocal out, and maybe even add this hi-hat in. So since we have that, let's go ahead and just delete all of this here, and let's unmute everything, and let's see what that sounds like. And I like that, but something tells me to cut this vocal up a little bit more, or to chop it up some. So I'm going to chop it up. Control C, and let's just hear what we get when we chop it. Maybe even take the hi-hat out too. Maybe release the vocals from here. Let's go ahead and bring in some more of the drums. So what I'll do is I'll take the kick out, I'll take the snare out, and when we bring these back in, and maybe even take this guitar out. Let's see what we get. And just repeat that. And take this whole part and just repeat it over here again, something like this. So that sounds good. Let's see what we're thinking about. So this is going to be our verse. These three are going to be the verse. Let's see what we could do for maybe a bridge. So I'm thinking maybe take the pad out, take the bass out, and let's take that snare out here, and the clap. Well, we'll keep the clap. Let's take the hi-hat out, and maybe keep that kick in there. maybe not. So take the kick out, take the guitar out. I think I want to leave the guitar for the hook, and let's put this deeper back in here. Maybe we take the clap out. Take the hi-hat out. Yeah. And this is basically going to be our layout. This part right here is exactly the same as this part right here, or this part right here. So all we really have to do with this in order to make it into a 2-verse song is just take this part here and just Control B. But I'm going to actually not do that right now, because what I want to talk about is adding some transitions in here, right? Because it sounds good, but there's nothing that leads up to the next part. So we do want some solid transitions here. I'm going to show you how to create a riser from scratch using native plugins. Add on a 3x oscillator, and in 3x oscillator there's this noise portion. So we can turn this down, turn the volume of it down. And now we just get noise, right? That's all we get is some noise. And what I want to do with this noise is I'm going to go into my settings here, and then I'll go to this wrench setting tool or plugin setting tool. I'll go over here to the modulation X. Bring it down. Something like that. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to pull up Edison. I already have Edison here. And I'm going to hit record, and then I'm just going to press C. Control delete. It's gonna trim it and just normalize it, make it super loud here, super loud. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of experiment here. We're gonna highlight some of this, like maybe about this much into the end, and then do this little number here. And now we can trim this part off. So grab that, trim some of it up here. All right, and we'll hit delete, and now we just got this. And all we have to do now is drag this out into our playlist, and then let's just kind of double click on it and hit reverse. And we can also resample it here, or I'm sorry, stretch it just in case we need to change the stretch of it. And now we got ourselves a riser, and we just made that from scratch. Pretty simple, pretty easy. And there's multiple ways that you can go about this. It's just one of the ways that I do it. And we probably have to check on that volume, but let's just hear what it sounds like right now. I'm gonna go ahead and send it to the channel rack. And I'm not channel rack. I'm sorry, send it to the mixer, and then I'm gonna just turn it down here on the mixer. Yeah. So we will have to do a little bit of EQ into that just to kind of get it to sound how I want it to sound. And then let's cut out some of the lows, a lot of the lows actually. So we'll scroll over this. We'll scroll over this portion, and then we'll just... And now something I want to try with coming into this part, I want to put a filter over the entire track. You go to the master fader, and then we'll go ahead and add on another parametric EQ. Now, there are multiple ways to do this. I'm going to do it this way manually because this is kind of the way that I've always done it, and I get a little bit more control over it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this high band, and we're going to make it a pass, and we're also going to make it a steep pass. This knob, we're going to actually automate this knob. Right click on it, and then create automation clip. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring it all the way down, not all the way down, but somewhat down. And we're going to automate it to come back up to where it was already. So it is a little too steep. So let's bring it up some. And maybe even do this little number with it. And you can get even more creative with this by just creating some different designs in it. And we can also bring it all the way up here. And this is basically going to cut it off and then just bring it in. So it stops. And this is what it's going to sound like all the way through from just that little part there with our riser and our new underwater effect, I guess you would say, but it's filtered. And I'm thinking maybe add like something like maybe some chimes. Let's try to find some chimes here. There's some wind chimes there. We'll drop that in. We'll shift M so we can stretch it. And that's going to allow us to do this little move here. Let's kind of experiment, see what that's going to sound like. So that's real fast. Let's maybe go slower. We could turn it down in the mixer track. Maybe add a little bit of reverb to it. Well, let's go a little delay first. Next thing we want to do is add some reverb to it to give it some space. I think I want to put an EQ on that we don't brighten up this high end. And another thing I want to do is I want to pan it. So I want to pan it to the left a little bit. Yeah, that sounds good. We don't need a transition here. We'll just keep it the same. Think about something here. Maybe put another riser here, which is okay to do the same thing. In my opinion, it's okay to do the same thing more than once. Put a riser here. And I'm thinking maybe at the end of this, kind of cut some of it up. Let's see. Maybe right here, just kind of cut the last part out. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, not too bad. I think I'll take this little hit out. Let's see. Which that's one way to do it, but I kind of want it to be more dramatic. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually bring this part back out here, and we're going to cut it up some. So for instance, I'll cut this part right here. And I'll cut it here. And maybe even cut it in the middle once, or twice, should I say, in the middle of each of those. And now you get like this kind of a stutter effect. Not really a stutter effect, but a skipping effect. If we do something like bring this out and bring this out, we get something like this. Maybe even cut this shorter and see what it sounds like coming from here. And this will go really good with the riser. So let's take this riser and put it here again. And what we could do with this one is make this one unique. Click on it and make unique. Let's bring this one all the way down in pitch. See what we get now. Yeah. Something else we have is this little knob here. Not knob, or fader. Let's go to single curve. And let's just kind of bring it down a little bit. I think I want to pan this one. I want to do a panning effect. So I'm going to right click on this, create automation clip for it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go from left to right with it. Or we'll go from right to left. So all the way up here. And we'll kind of just follow this to go down like this. Something like that. And we got ourselves a new transition using the same fader, or not fader, using the same riser that we were already using, same riser that we made. And that's really all we need for the transitions. Now you can do whatever kind of transitions you want. I think this is actually pretty good. This is pretty fine. It's not too much going on, and always these things can be changed or taken out, put in some different transitions. It really all depends on the artist and the engineer. So whenever you do make your beats and you send them out, make sure you send all the stems with it so that they can have more control over it. What we'll do now is we'll just take everything here and just repeat it. So all of this, and then we'll grab this, hit Control B, and then we'll come back over here and grab this riser. So really you could just click on it and then go set it over here. Now something else I was thinking about with experimenting here, if we go to this intro here, let's take out the kick, let's take out the bass. I think I'll take out the snare as well. I think I like that better. And to make the second portion a little different, I'm going to actually put this guitar back into the bridge here and see what it sounds like over here with that being in the bridge. Now at the end of your song, you can do one or two things. You can just let it stop, or you can go over to your master fader, right click on it and create automation clip. And now what you can do is you can fade the song out. So instead of letting it just stop, we can go here, maybe let's say we'll add one more of these, and then we'll put this towards the end there at the very end. And now what we can do is we can right click on, say, this portion. Make sure that volume stays where it needs to stay. I think it's at 80%. And then bring this one down. And kind of maybe even put another one here. So we kind of slowly bring it down. And that's going to fade your song out. But that's really all it takes. It doesn't take much. What my main technique is to start out with everything and start taking things away and adding things where you need them. It's really just experimenting with everything, making sure that you are, just trying to see what works and what doesn't work. And, there's no one way to do it. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but you do want to think about your listener and what's going to catch the attention of the listener. And if you're just making instrumentals, you really want to think about what's going to catch the attention of the artist or an artist that you want to possibly get a placement with. Hopefully you found this helpful. And if you do have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section and I'll be happy to respond to them all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I am almost to 300 subscribers. I know that sounds small, but if you like this video and you enjoy this type of content, just make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you like this video and come back and see me for the next one. And I'll see you in the next one.